Hello, guys. A lot of Nigerians believe that the war in the Middle East is not supposed to concern us. And I think that that's a very, very foolish thing to think. And I'm here to share that reason with you. So, the number one reason I'm going to be giving is fuel prices. Obviously, you all know that fuel prices have gone up, especially the last 1 month, because of this situation in the Middle East. And the reason fuel prices have gone up is because most people think that because you have crude oil and because you have your own local refineries, then automatically you are immune from these prices. But it's not always like that. And the reason it's not always like that is because, take for example, the Dangote refinery, to be able to meet up with their daily capacity, they'll have to import a lot of crude. And the reason they can't always get crude from Nigeria is because Nigeria as a nation have contractual obligation with other international refineries that already signed up to buy their crude. So they have those contractual obligations to meet up with. And they cannot just say that, okay, because there's not a refinery in Nigeria, they will not begin to shift all of their focus to Nigeria, because you need to understand also that the crude is not just owned by Nigeria alone. The oil companies that actually facilitate the drilling of these oils own a portion of this oil. So, and these companies all have contractual obligation to various governments all around the world and various refineries all around the world. So when the crude is drilled, they have to fulfill all of those contractual obligations. What happens then is Dangote, as a person who is a local entrepreneur, will not have to go and source the one he's not able to get from the Nigerian market from the international market, and that is where the squeeze from the international market actually comes in. Another thing that happens when Dangote actually goes to the international market to go and buy this crude is that he now has to buy this crude. Instead of buying it in naira, he will not have to buy it in dollars. And remember, because of the crisis, the prices of crude per barrel has not gone above $100. So that automatically translates to, cost for him. And because of that cost, he has to pass that cost over to you. And by the time he passes that cost over to you, it affects the price of fuel, and it affects the price of everything else. Another area where it affects us is the price of food. And this is primarily because Nigeria actually imports a whole lot of food from wheat. I think Nigeria imports around 99% of the wheat we consume in Nigeria. And these wheat are actually grown using fertilizers that come from the Middle East. Because the GCC nation, a lot of them produce fertilizers, and these fertilizers are now used by various farmers all around the world to grow food. And some of these food are shipped to Nigeria because we are very dependent on imported food. So as a country that is very, very import dependent, it goes without saying that anything that happens in the global market inevitably affects the cost of living.